Yeah, beat your addiction, live free. Ralf Friedrichs is who you see. Listen in when you're feeling low. Take back your life, today's show. Beat your addiction, live free. Ralf Friedrichs is who you see. Listen in when you're feeling low. Take back your life, today's show. Stay positive, hope, and keep faith. Stand strong against any odds that you face. Put away the alcohol and the drugs. Fill your time with the things you love. Addiction is tough, but it's worth the work. Treat your body what it's worth. Spread positivity, inspire all. If we stand together, we will never fall. I help others see the other sides of life. A sober life, letting go of the strife. So give me a call, I can help. 1-844-4405-HELP. Homeless shelters, hospitals, jails, wherever you are. I am Ralf Friedrichs and I am here for you. 1-844-405-HELP.
Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. I want to welcome you today to the Take Your Life Back Today show. Today we have a special guest coming to call into our show. His name is Richard Flores, and he is a director, an actor, a producer, an animal rights activist. He is also vegan, and he, like so many other people, started from the down under, way down in somewhere in New York City, because he was born in '86, East Side, and raised in Harlem, and now lives in Brooklyn. Like so many other people, directors and actors that are out there, he scrapped and crawled his way to make it to where he is. So here it is. He went to school in Washington, Irving, New York City. He trained and got all his experience, besides doing films now, from the El Barrio Firehouse Community Media Center. During his younger years, he was involved in law enforcement exploring. Now let me tell you what law enforcement exploring is. It's a hands-on program to open to young men and women who have completed the 6th grade all the way up to 20 years old. Interested in a career in law enforcement or related field in the criminal justice system, the program offers young adults a personal awareness of criminal justice through training, practical experiences, competition, and other activities. Additionally, the program promotes personal growth through character development, respect for the rule of law, physical fitness, good citizenship, and patriotism. Folks, this is Richard Flores. He is an excellent filmmaker, director, and actor. He loves animals, and he is a vegan. We will talk to him about what it's like to be a filmmaker, and we also want to talk about his new movie that's coming up, where I will personally not only appear in it, but I am also doing some voiceover voices, actually. So let me go to a commercial, and as soon as I get back, we will talk to Richard Flores, actor, producer, director, animal rights activist, and vegan. Richard Flores next. So hold on, and I'll be right back.
How you doing, guys? Just wanted to say I am back with my filming process for my latest film, LGBT, My Flag, My Rights, My Life. The next video I will be uploading this week will be a brand new video behind the scenes of my latest film. So I just want to tell you guys I have not forgotten about you, and I'm moving forward and making this film possible. I want to say thank you for the recent cast I filmed already, and thank you for my future cast. I will film very soon. Thank you for having patience with me. I stopped filming, but I'm right back on it. And so I will see you guys pretty soon. And I had to get my glasses fixed. Is crooked. Is done. Is damaged. Is bent. Is loose. Is crazy. I just need to get new glasses. All right. So again, my latest film. I will show you guys behind the scenes. A new video will be uploaded this week for my latest film. LGBT, my flag, my rights, my life. I talked to some new cast members. It was interesting, very interesting, um, and very, very interesting. All right, so this is gonna be a roller coaster. I can see that. All right, guys. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your faith. Thank you, believe in me. Please like up, comment, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon. And stay strong.
Nobody should be picked on or beat up, because they're gay or because they're different, because somebody's a different race or from a different part of the world. No one should be doing that to anybody. That's just, if you say you love God, like I say, God loves everybody. He made everyone. He created a rainbow. He liked variety. Okay, so why are you hating? It doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense to hate this one or that one. It just doesn't make sense.
Hello, my name is Ralph. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of To Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of that coffin. You tried lifting the lid, but the enormous weight upon the lid prevents you from opening that lid. You then try banging on the lid, hoping to unsettle the dirt. Maybe somebody might notice and start digging their way down towards you. This is what it's like to feel at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help, you know you can't do it on your own, but you don't know where to turn. You just think you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to defeat an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that you might just take your life? That God had given you away from you? And if that's not selfish enough, what about taking your life away from the people that love and care for you most? Your mother, your father, brother, sister, husband, wife, children, even your grandchildren. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person that I just spoke about that waited until it was too late to get help. Instead, be that person that picks up the phone and calls me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise I'll help you take your life back. For your life is gone. I want to talk about the 10 tips for young filmmakers, because today we're going to have a guest. His name is Richard Flores. He's an actor, a producer, a director. He's a vegan. He's an animal rights activist. He wears many hats, and he does films. And I'm going to be in one of his films. Name of the film is, and it comes out next year, 2017, is LGBT, or is it LBGT? I think it's LBGT or LGBT, and it is my right, my flag, my life. That is the film that's coming out, and it'll be out next year. After this segment, Richard Flores will be calling in to our show, and I'm going to ask him a few questions. But let's start with number 1. These are the 7 tips. 7 tips to help you become a young filmmaker. Work with what you've got is number 1. Don't write the epic crowd scene unless you know there's a festival happening next week that you can steal as a backdrop. Play to your strengths. There's probably something unique that you or your family have access to that you can use in your movie. Remember, if your dad has a tractor, write a movie around that. If he doesn't, then don't. Number 2, you can't ever beat Hollywood, so don't even try. Tempting as it may be to try to imitate the style-like gloss of the favorite blockbusters in Hollywood, let's face it, the game is rigged in their favor. You can try, and your failure may be unique and interesting, or at least funny in its own. But if you can also just do your own thing and try something that the studios wouldn't have had the the courage to do, or let your imagination just take over and do something that their imagination wasn't doing for them. Let's lower the screen a little bit. Number 3, study films over and over. Just study them. A lot of mistakes that young filmmakers make could be avoided if the teenagers actually just paid attention to their favorite films. Pick a movie you love most, watch it, and sound down. Look closely at the camera angles and editing and lighting. Watch short films on YouTube and see how effective stories can be told in 5 minutes. You won't be able to match the production value of these films, and you don't need to anyway, but oftentimes the craft of good filmmaking doesn't cost you any money. You just actually watch the films and kind of go from there. Number 4, keep pushing yourself. Every film you make should teach you something you didn't know before and will make it easier for the next one, and achieve something that you didn't know you were even capable of doing. This doesn't mean you have to go out every time and do something that you have no idea how to do. You should draw on the skills and techniques you've already learned. But if you're not building on them, if you're not pushing yourself further in some way, you're playing it safe, and it will show of the quality. Number 5, keep it short. Always keep it short and direct. Number 6, test the screen. Showing your film to an audience is one of the most important ways of figuring out what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong as a filmmaker. But that doesn't mean just saying it. It means to follow up. So test the screen, look at the quality, do some testing before you actually shoot your film. And it doesn't hurt to even test it for like 10 minutes straight to make sure that you kind of get rid of all the little kinks and any obstacles. Number 7, don't neglect the basics of filmmaking. Audience will forgive a lot of technical flaws in your film if your story is compelling, your actors are engaging, or your jokes are funny. But there's still that threshold point where technical mistakes start to get in the way. That point is usually when they are no longer able to clearly see, hear, or follow what's going on. So get to know your equipment and practice with it. Learn the basics of shot composition. Do your best to record quality sound, and that's beyond your means. Make a silent movie. There's too much talking in most movies anyway. Number 8, embrace limits. The limitation of teenage filmmaking can often be discouraging. How in the world are you supposed to make a great film when all you've got is a lousy camera and your, not so dedicated friends? Well, the first step is to change your attitude about it. There's an old French filmmaker named Robert Bresson who said, someone who can work with the minimum can work with the most. One who can with the most cannot. Ultimately with the minimum. In other words, you should be celebrating the fact that you've got this camera in the first place, and maybe some undedicated friends, because some people don't even have that, and that means all of your solutions to your problems you encounter are going to have to be creative ones. Use your mind, use your imagination, and move forward. Number 9, don't ever give up. If you haven't failed at filmmaking yet, then you probably weren't being ambitious enough. If you have, congratulations for failing. You're on the way to becoming a great filmmaker. Just keep at it, and as Beckett put it, fail better next time. Number 10, don't listen to anyone. Hollywood screenwriter William Goldman famously said to the film world that nobody knows anything, and it's true. That doesn't mean you shouldn't ignore anything anyone tells you, but if you're really passionate about the project, don't let anyone talk you out of it. Make film that you want to make, not the film you think you want to see, or the film that teaches you or your parents what to make and what to think. Most of all, don't listen to people who say that you cannot do anything, or what you're aiming for is impossible to reach. I've argued above limitations are your friend, but the types of restrictions that really get in the way are the ones that you let stuck inside your head. Who says films have to cost a certain amount? Look at a certain way, be a certain way, or contain the element, or that one. That is really the bottom line. And always remember, it doesn't matter if you fail over and over, take cuts over and over, come up with good background drops, come up with good practice screen runs, and come up with a good imagination. And most of all, have fun. Thank you very much. Right after this commercial, we will have Richard Flores call in, and we will ask him certain questions on about being a filmmaker. And remember, it's going to be a great segment, so don't go away, and we'll see you in a minute. Good afternoon, this is Ralf Friedrichs from the Take Your Life Back Today show. As promised, we finally have Richard Flores on the phone here. Richard, just say hello to everyone.
How you doing, guys? My name is Richard Flores, and I'm a filmmaker and actor. My YouTube channel is Richard Plus Films. Now that channel is all about if you are interested in filmmaking, how a film is done from the very beginning to the very end. You guys will see behind the scenes. You guys will see what the good, but the bad, and ugly of filmmaking. so that's what my channel is all about, and plenty other things, much more other things on my channel.
Okay, listen, why don't you tell us the name of your upcoming film?
My current film I'm working on. I'm halfway done. It's been a long process. The film is LGBT, my flag, my rights, my life.
And from the clips that I've seen, it looks like it's going to be a huge success, and it's going to be a great film.
Thank you. And Ralph, you are going to be in it, and we are going to film next week. So I think that will be good.
And I look forward to it, and I think you had asked me to do some voiceovers also.
Yes.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, and you know what, I look forward to doing it, and I want to welcome you to the show, and I'm so happy that I was introduced to you from, I believe it was Gloria and CJ that told me for us to get together and do this. And a lot of people in my audience always ask me about filmmaking. I'm not a filmmaker, Richard. I'm not. I work more on videos. I'm a addiction recovery coach, a life coach. I'm an optician. So I'm not a filmmaker, but you are, and there has been so many people asking me certain questions, and I saved 10 of those questions, and I want to ask you those 10 questions, and if you could keep your answers down to about 2 minutes per answer, due to restrictions on time limits here, that would be great. So we're going to dive right into it, and at the end of these questions, if there's anything else you want to say to the audience, I'd be more than happy to give you the mic again, okay?
Okay, great.
So question number one, these questions that I came up with, again, some of them came from audience members that I've had now for about 3 years saved up, and some of them I came up with. So I'm not going to give out names, who gave them to me, whatever. But the first question is, did you always want to be a filmmaker?
Oh yes. Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a filmmaker. I had my camera, and I went all around the house. I started filming each of my family members, and I don't know if I drove them crazy or not, but and my mom, she passed away in 2002.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, and I consider her my first interview. It was me and her in a room alone, and I just put the camera at her. It was just like a 5 minute, less than 5 minutes, and I actually had a chance to film her and just interview her. I think I asked only just one question, and that's it, because I was a little kid, and I'm so happy that that I had a chance to film my mom, and so yeah, I always wanted to be a filmmaker.
Well, that's excellent. You know what? That kind of almost goes right into question number two. which the question is, what inspired you to become one? And it sounds like you gave me a partial answer on that already, but I'll let you continue if there's something else you want to add to that.
Yeah, of course. This is a interesting story. It's probably a unique story, and a true story. I was in my school auditorium, and in my school at the time, I think it had a theater on department up in the movie department, and my current girlfriend at the time. Basically, as young kids, I was looking for a makeout room. So inside the school, so the second level of the school auditorium was a small room. So we went up there, and I had friends that worked in there. So anyway, so while I was making out with the with the girl, I turned to my right, and there was lights, cameras, wires, everything about filmmaking. But not only that I fell in love with the girl, I fell in love with filmmaking at that very moment. So that's how I got into filmmaking.
Well, and that, yeah, I'm sorry, but that goes right to question 3 because what age was that you said?
I believe I was 11 years old. 12, 11,
yeah. It's almost like puppy love, right?
Yes. It was very interesting because at that moment, I just turned to my right, and I just, like I said, not only I fell in love with the girl,
right.
I fell in love with filmmaking at that very moment.
And that's pretty funny. The next question is, and I just want to give you a little rundown real quick. My show, as you know, is being seen pretty much all over the world, but right here in the United States, 22 rehab centers, a couple of correction facilities now play my videos, my educational videos. And so I want to ask you, as a filmmaker, what's the best thing about being one?
What's the best thing?
About being a filmmaker?
Well, the best thing is you don't know where you're going to be or who you're going to meet, right?
Yeah.
But you get to travel to, different places and experience new things. It changes you to improve you to be a better human being, and it's never a dull moment, a boring moment. It's always, every time it's always exciting. And
for me the best thing is in videotaping is that I'm helping people. And the next question for you is, what's the worst thing? And I can tell you my worst thing is when I go into certain stores or barbershops, they say, hey, we saw you on Vimeo, YouTube, or we saw you on Channel 12, or we saw you on Bill Cunningham show, or whatever. So what's the worst thing about you being a filmmaker?
The worst thing is, currently, right now, I work alone. A film crew. I would love to. I don't have a film crew. I would love to have a film crew someday. And also my but the time. Sometimes I get lost track of time, and I forget that I have family and loved ones that I had to be with, because I could go. But the process of filmmaking, I go film. I think of the script, and I can take hours, and then I come back home and I have to edit but the footage, and I can sit in the laptop for hours and hours, and then after the film is done, I have to go promote it. So I get lost of quality time with loved ones, and but the worst also is filming on technical problems. but this happened to me 3 times. I went filming, and for 2 times, 3 times. Once was a film gig that someone hired me. I interviewed that person, and I thought the lavalier was mic'd up properly. So when I got back home, I didn't hear no audio, and and that happened to me 3 times.
Oh
and
my
one,
God!
One was a film gig, and the other worst thing about being a filmmaker is getting cast members, especially if they don't believe in your topic. And that's the worst. That's the toughest thing, to get cast members.
Right. And certain topics require certain personalities, and I hope that you stepping up to the plate and being on my show, it helps maybe people out there that maybe want to look into becoming filmmakers, or even helping you on a voluntary basis, because I can imagine you don't have a budget to hire people. And
I spend my own money.
See,
I spend my own dime.
That's exactly what I mean. And so if there's any people out there, maybe they want to get a hold of you if they have any experience and want to do it on a volunteer. Because folks, as you're watching us right now and you're listening to us, remember, anything you do in free in life has 2 purposes. First purpose is karma. It will come back to you. But more importantly, it could give you a new name to bigger and better one day. So, Richard, what's the estimated number of projects you have worked on? You don't have to go through the whole list, but the estimate.
About 10 projects, but and other projects, but this time I filmed for a client for his documentary, but I'm not editing. I'm just filming.
Right.
And there's other projects, but I did I guess, but the basic topics of life. I did women's rights, a film about women's rights. That film name is on Last Looks, and animal rights. But my latest film on animal rights is All You Rights Go Vegan. There's some other ones.
So, but that's listen, they're all good topics. We all have favorite filmmakers. I can tell you my favorite filmmaker of all time is, I really should say my brother, but he really isn't. It's Steven Spielberg. Who is your favorite filmmaker?
Well, you'll be surprised. I don't have one.
Oh.
I don't have, but I do respect. I respect 100%. I can say, if I had to say, for my favorite filmmaker is Hitchcock.
Yes, absolutely.
Because his mindset was in the silent days. So the silent days, you had to move the camera,
Yes.
So that's I like Hitchcock, but I don't know. I love movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hitchcock, he's in a league by himself, because back then when he was doing it, he didn't have all these special effects like they have now, and 100 cameras in the studio. To lead into question number 8 is favorite movie. My favorite movie of all time. It's an oldie back from '79. Actually, 2 of them, Jaws and Rocky, the original. What about you? Your favorite movie?
Well, I like those 2, but it's not my favorite. But I like those. I like those 2. My favorite movie, Interview with the Vampire and The Lost Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely a good one. Yep. You know what?
And those 2 movies got me into acting. Ever since I saw those 2 movies, it has inspired me to be an actor.
Right. Well, you know what? Let me just say this, and I want my audience to hear this. I don't know you that long, Richard, but I will tell you that the fact that you're doing this upcoming film, the one you're presently working on, tells me a lot about your character. Because people need to bring awareness to not just today's society of being labeled, but what is the history of all this that's going on. America is being torn apart by so many different situations, including people being labeled, and I am so thankful for folks, filmmakers like you, that bring this to the attention to not only the American people, but hopefully, being that I know you're going to be putting on YouTube, it goes internationally automatically. So I thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You know, it's a hard work in filmmaking, and seriously, we cannot do it without, but the audience or cast members, you know, but we can't do it without you guys, you know.
Right. Well, it
doesn't work.
Right.
Without the cast.
No, of course not. That definitely doesn't. You know, it's so much work. I have 2 full-time jobs. Plus, like I told you, I'm a life coach, and doing these videos. If you look at how many videos I have, you'd be amazed. I have 1,600 and something videos. It's 3.5 years of a lot of work, but it's so worth it, because every single video, including this one that you're on, is an informational piece, because there are people out there that want to become like you. They want to be filmmakers, and you're shedding light on what it's like to be a filmmaker. And I want you to tell the people, how has your life changed since you became a filmmaker?
Filmmaking for me guides me to happiness, and one experience I was filming a film project on my own of this protest, and I thought it was another film project. I thought I was going to just film and leave, and I filmed animal rights activists, and they talked to me about veganism and animal rights, and do my filmmaking. And I became vegan. It took me a couple of weeks to be vegan. And through my filmmaking, also I met my girlfriend that I'm living with right now.
Okay.
I've been together with her for 3 years now.
Oh, congratulations!
And, yeah, thank you. And I was filming at a film gig, and I met her in the train. So through filmmaking, I had a job to film, and I just met her,
right
on that day. And so, and filmmaking changed me. It makes me feel peaceful, and it's my outlet. And I do suffer from depression, and it takes that away from me, And it makes me happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I'm sorry you're suffering from depression, and I'm glad you're getting better at it. And as you know, that's what I do. I help people that have depression. So anytime you need to talk to me, you're certainly welcome to give me a buzz.
Yeah.
I just earned more respect for you because you said something that I didn't know about you, that you had a girlfriend, and you've been in a relationship for 3 years. And here's why I respect you even more, is because you are bringing attention with your existing film that you're making to something that doesn't even affect your life.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Let's say if somebody else would have done this this film that you're doing that affects them directly, I can understand why they're doing it. But you're doing this to bring attention to one of the major problems that this world has, and that's people being labeled for whatever reason.
That's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So here's our last question, and I don't know if you need time to think about this one, but what's one piece of advice you can give someone who also wants to make it in the movie business? If you had any advice for the youngsters out there.
Okay. I just turned 30 years old this year, and I will give advice to the younger me. To the younger youths. If you say that you are a filmmaker, then you are one. Pick camera. It could be your parents' old camera, iPad Mini, or a phone, iPhone, and you just go out and make a film. Make your own path and create a unique stories. Go out freestyle filming, write a mini script. Definitely practice your film shots. But you have to practice your film shots. Because no one likes talking heads. Make sure you get a B-roll footage. You can do a voiceover. Also, don't let the camera stand still too long. Always move your camera. Be hands-on with the camera. Don't leave it not only on the tripod, but the tripod is mainly for sit down interviews. You have to move your camera around.
Perfect advice. And you said it right about a tripod. I'm doing this interview with you, and mine, of course, is on a tripod. And it has to be because I can't move around and have a phone interview doing that. So that's good advice. And in the background, you can't see it right now, Richard, because you're a phone interview. In the background, everyone, you can see there's some scrolling pictures of Richard. There's some pictures of the name of his film company. Folks, I want you all to realize that it doesn't matter what you want to do in life, but if you just try, no matter how many times you fail, you dust your knees, you stand straight up, and you continue. Take Richard's advice. If you want to be a filmmaker, get any camera you can and start and call yourself a filmmaker, because the minute you press on the film, you're a filmmaker. Right, Richard?
Yes, sir. Yeah. These days, it's completely different. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different animal with the camera. It's not like before. You had to pay for film, and they had precious time, and it was very expensive. These days, it's completely different. So no excuses, guys.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I hope to God that whoever was watching got some great information from you. I know that since you and I decided to do this segment, the research I did on the clips before this interview, I learned a lot about filmmaking, even though I've acted probably in about 7 films for my audience that knows that my brother's been a producer now for over 30 years, and he works for the Virginia State Crime Scene Unit now, videotaping. But Richard, I thank you so much for appearing here. I know for a fact I'm going to have you on more often talking about different topics. I want you to get back on here eventually and promote your film when it's completed, and we can show some clips of it then at that time. Maybe I can even get you in here to the Hamptons to sit down with me and we can talk, or we can meet at a neutral place, or whatever we want to do.
Okay, sounds good, Ralph. Thank you very much for allowing me to be in your show. Thank you.
Oh, no, you're welcome. Don't hang up on me. Let me say goodbye to the audience. Shut off the camera. Folks, here at the Take Your Life Back Today show, we cover every topic. Today's topic was what it's like to be a filmmaker. Richard Flores, the filmmaker, talked a little bit about some of the questions that you folks, that's right, you and the audience had, and I hope to God that you all appreciated his information and his experience. Remember, when you are down and you are depressed and you need help, call me at 844-405-HELP, because that's what I'm here for, is to help you take your life back.
Have you ever prayed but never got an answer, and wondered if God was really there? Did you feel all hope was gone, but in His time He came along and answered the prayer you thought was gone? There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. Will ask, you shall receive. No matter what it is, I still believe. There is no prayer too small, and even when we fall, He gives us just exactly what we need. There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. He always knows what's right. God hears them all. There is no prayer too small. My God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember,